Morning. Here we are. Monday, November 14th, 2023. I'm Larissa. This is my video diary. And I have my buddy here. Hey, mister. Brody, what you doing, bud? You chewing on a stick? You chewing on sticks? Yeah? Just a little. He's all embarrassed. He's pulling the stuff out of his fluff, and he's chewing on the sticks. It's really, he has some sticks in his tail, but it's mostly duff. It's mostly frond. Right? Ugly, 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 ugly cold sore. Time for tea, and I need it. Oh, totally need it. Well, so yesterday I did something very un-Larissa, and it was not as bad as I thought it was going to be. And yeah. And I want to write about it, so I don't want to talk too much about it, but I'm going to sneeze. Oh, excuse me. For a minute, I thought I was going to crawl back up, but it didn't. Did I make a really ugly face? Probably. Probably that's the still that when I upload to YouTube, it'll choose that one where I'm making the ugliest face possible. Right? Yeah. But oh, I have to take it easy today. Be nice to me. I mean, be nice to me. I'm not nice to me most of the time. I'm not. I'm like, why be nice to me? Nobody else, you know. But yeah, I slept really good last night. Slept like a friggin' rock. Oh my God. Yeah. It was worth it just for that. Yeah. I don't sleep like that very often. But I slept like the dead last night, that's for damn sure. Slept like the dead. And I have to say, what I did yesterday was not for my back, but, and it felt so good on my back. On the spot that was injured, that hurts all the time. What I did yesterday felt good. Weird. And I mean, it's I can still feel it there, but it's not the same. So, and yeah, and I was told that the lump isn't there now. So, I don't know if that lump is gone, whatever that lump was, if that lump is gone. That'd be awesome. That'd be awesome if that lump is gone. I'll tell you, my back feels different. It does. So, yeah. So I'm gonna just take it easy today. I have some laundry to catch up on. And maybe I'll sweep the floor. But I think I'm just gonna lay around. I think I'm just gonna lay around and let my body process what has happened to it. Yeah. Maybe I'll work on writing about it. Yeah. So I'm gonna talk about that game from last night. Okay, I am. I'm gonna talk about it. I'm gonna talk about it. So shooting is terrible. And that's really, really what's killing us. I mean, how many wide open shots were missed last night? A lot. And I know there's such thing as like having creative block, like, writer's block or whatever. Or, like I've had creative block with my artwork too. Geez, I had creative block for a number of years. Yeah. When we were living in Santa Rosa, oh gosh, I hadn't had studio space for a long time, right? Like when we left Sunnyvale, so I gave up my metal studio when we moved. And so I didn't, and we were supposed to, the first house that we rented when we moved up there, the garage was supposed to be my shop. Well, when we got to the house, the guy hadn't like, they weren't even all moved out the day we were moving in, let alone clean it or anything, right? Like, we get up there and the garage was full of shit. He was supposed to pour a driveway. There were all these things that were supposed to happen. He was supposed to pour a driveway. They were supposed to be moved out, and the garage was supposed to be totally clear and cleaned, right? That's what the agreement was. We got there, and none of that had happened, right? The driveway was still a big, broken up concrete mess, and he's like, "Oh yeah, and I'm gonna be using the garage as storage." So we couldn't even park our car in the garage. Like, there was a third of the garage that we were able to put our stuff in, right? Like, the garage was supposed to be my studio space and storage space, and there was just shit everywhere. And like I said, they weren't even totally moved out of the house. They were still moving out of the house, and I was just like, "Oh my God." He called us the day before. He's like, "Can you give us a couple days before you?" I'm like, "No, we hired a moving company. They're coming. Our house is packed up." He was like, "Oh, awful." So I didn't get to have a studio when we got up there, which was a huge slap, right? It was a huge slap because that was like the whole thing. We were moving out to the country, and I was gonna get to, work in my studio, and Omar was working from home. This was long before pandemic. Long before pandemic. Omar was working remotely long before pandemic. Yeah. So this was supposed to be like country living, and then the place was really weird. And so I was still, at that time, I was still editing the Metal Arts Guild newsletter, right? And so that was like my tie to my creativity was that. And I started advertising my Reiki services up in that area, and I thought it was going to, do well in the spa community because, Reiki in the spa community is popular. People were very, very closed and insular up there. It was very, very hard. So then I started a group called the NBHPN, North Bay Holistic Practitioners Network. And I places that we had gone and things, um, I had a bunch of people that joined, and we did these meetings once a month at the house, right? And I had a nice breakfast, and we talked about, our practices and things, and other people got business from it, but I did not. I did learn a lot about the area and things, but I didn't get any business from it. Um, like I said, other people got business from it, but I didn't. And I was the one who started the group. Um, but I was really focused on my Reiki practice then, because I didn't have the studio space, and the house that we were in wasn't, I wasn't. I had been working solely in metals for years, and didn't have space for, and wasn't really compelled to be doing any painting or anything else, right? Well, then we bought our house up in Santa Rosa, and again, I had my studio space in the house, and um I was still the doing the guild letter. I did that for like 3, 4 years. Totally unpaid position. Was the editor, was editor in chief of the Metal Arts Guild of San Francisco newsletter. Was on the board and everything. Yeah, so I mean that took a lot of time because I had people writing for me and I had to chase, columns down and all kinds of stuff and, going out for interviews and doing the writing and doing the editing and it's one thing when I'm doing my own thing when it's like, okay, I know what I need to write and I need to know what I need to put in. It's another thing when you have other people who are submitting things regularly and you don't know exactly what you're going to be getting and get everything go to get like it's a lot of work. I did that for 4 years and it was an 8-page newsletter and it had to be kept to an 8-page newsletter. So that's a lot of work. That's a lot of work. So now for my magazine, I can make it as long as or short as I want. And I have control over the whole thing. It's easy. It's actually easier. My publication now is easier than my publication was back then. So I was doing that. And I had my Reiki studio set up in the house. And then I lost a whole mess of weight. And that's when I started sewing. It's because I was like, oh, I need to find some clothes that fit and I hate shopping and nothing ever, I was like, oh, I'll make some clothes because I used to do that in high school. I used to make clothes in high school all the time for myself. So I got out my sewing machine and I started sewing. And then I started doing quilting. I was like, oh, this is creative. I was like, I went to a couple quilt shows at the fairgrounds and, you know, for something to do, right? And then I started doing these art quilts and there's a couple big ones and there's one that I'd love to have back, but I donated it. I donated it or I entrusted it to the Unitarian Universalist Association of America. I have no idea where this is, if they've thrown it away or whatever. It was a beautiful piece. Really, really, really nice piece. Huge piece. Huge piece, framed, everything. Anyway, I was doing these pieces, right? That was when I got a piece in the museum in Salem, and then I donated a piece to the Normal Conference, and it got auctioned off for a music concert, and like I was doing a lot of stuff. I mean, it was serious. The work was serious. But I hadn't done any creative work up until that point for a number of years, and I remember, like when I started, just kind of like putzing, it was it was hard. It was really hard to get anything that had, um, I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for? Composition. That's what I was struggling with. I was struggling with composition. And um, it took a while. It took a while to break through that. And it was a mind barrier because I had gone through, I was really bitter with the Metal Arts Guild. Really, 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 really bitter because they had been so unsupportive of me, right? In I drove down to San Francisco all the time or to Oakland for meetings and for volunteering, and all they wanted was more, 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 but nobody was willing to come up. They came up to have a meeting at my house one time, one time, and I cooked this big crazy meal. I did. I cooked a big crazy meal. But, you know, as far as like my work was concerned, it's totally, totally unsupportive of my work. My jewelry work and any other creative work I was doing, they were totally unsupportive of my work. It was like I was treated as if I were not even an artist. Really, I truly was, right? Like I was a joke in that group, and it was really hurtful, and it was really hard being up there and not having appropriate studio space, um, and then to be treated that way by who were supposed to be my professional peers, right? And the amount of time that went into that guild letter, like I said, that 8-page guild letter, that newsletter, that 8-page newsletter took like 10 times as much time out of my life as the 36 to, 36 plus page magazine that I do now, you know? It did. And the woman that I took it over from, she couldn't even let go. Like she's the one, she's like, I can't do this anymore. I have to find somebody to replace me. And so she recruited me. And then she couldn't let go. She's like, you have to let me edit it. You have to let me look it over. I have to look it over every time. I'm like, oh my God, I'm not even being paid for this. And she was still she was still micromanaging. It was just like, I don't know why I did it. I don't know why I did it. I don't know why I did it. At the time, I told myself, it was professional development. It was like, oh, this is something to go on my resume. It never helped me on my resume for anything. No, the only thing any of the volunteer work I ever did helped me with was get more volunteer work. It's like once you start doing volunteer work, nobody ever wants to pay you for dick. Nothing. But that was hard. That was really, really hard. That was really, 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 really hard. And so then when we moved to Oakland, from Santa Rosa, when I started getting back into making, had my studio and I was doing garments, I was doing garment work, and writing, and that's what I was doing, garment work and writing. Then I started doing installation work. Then I moved into doing installation, and I did a number of installations um, that were interesting. There was the bee installation. Was That one was crazy. Watching the bees decompose over 3 months, that was crazy. And then there was the California landscape installation with the poetry that then became a dress, a garment for, it was a costume for a dance piece. So there was that piece took up so much room. That piece was enormous. That piece was enormous. Words hanging in the air. Hmm. Yeah, so there was that. And then I was curating exhibitions in tandem with the work that I was working on. And then I started the Deconstructed Encaustics. I started painting again. And that was a big step. That was a big step. And I can't even say that, looking back now, coming from the position of where I'm at, where I am painting properly, proper paintings on canvas kind of thing now. Um, the Deconstructed Encaustics were a step, and they are paintings, but they're more than that, and there's something other than that. It's and it's all been very, very difficult. It's all been very, very difficult, and it has been so long since I've worked in a metal studio. It's been so long. And I truly had passion for that. And I feel like I still do, Um, my hammers are still extremely intimate to me. But just kind of relating that challenge and that journey and having to move from media to media when one media was not accessible for whatever reason, or or peer group made a particular outlet of work um, difficult or impossible. It's hard. It's hard, and it can really pull you off your game and distract you. And watching the game last night, I was kind of going over, mulling these things over in my mind. And it's the comparison I have to make, moving between media, moving between what your strong suit is. I think about like Andrew Wiggins and his free throws and how they're not falling right now. And so, but he's had some mean layups, right? And so focusing on what the strength is at the moment, what is available, and and making your work from that, right? So like at the time when I had my sewing machine, when I first got my fancy sewing machine and everything, and when I had the time when I was making garments and stuff, because out of necessity, I was making garments for myself because I had, lost all this weight and I needed some clothes. And then it just became a creative outlet, and then it turned into something else, and then it turned into something else. And you're thinking about it that way. And oh, my heart was just breaking for Clay last night. It was. It was. Mr. Clay Thompson. Mr. Clay Thompson, you look so distracted. You look so distracted. I'm sorry for that. What are you distracted by? What is it that's distracting you? What is it that's keeping you from hitting those shots? It's a mental block because it's not physical. What do you need to do? Whatever it is you need to do it. Hmm? I just wanted to hug you. I did. I did. And a couple times I saw you sitting there on the bench. It looked like you were going to cry. And then Draymond was so angry in his post game interview. He was so angry. He was. If I were Draymond, I'd be angry too. Because, I mean, he gets treated like dirt. He does. He gets treated like dirt in officiating, Mm. Anyway. Oh, yeah. So I'm going to take it easy today. I got to do some laundry, but other than that, I just need to let my body do its thing. I need to just be calm and still and relax, and that's not something I do very often. I'm usually working on something. Yesterday, while I was going through the procedure, I did nothing. And I forgot how good I am at doing nothing. I even got some sleep. I did. I slept during a lot of the procedure. And like I said last night, I slept like the dead. My body needed that. Interesting how things work, huh? Interesting. Hey, Brody. Oh, he was so good. He knew not to jump on me. He knew not to jump on me. He was so careful. Oh, so I tried this product recently, and I'm not going to use it again. And yeah, I got it all cleared up now, so it was an allergic reaction. So I bought this product from this company called Nu Skin. Nu Skin has been around for a really, really, really long time. They use stem cell research, right? Their products. I should have known. I should have known. I had a reaction to it. So I got this, it's supposed to be a face tightening mask, right? It's supposed to be a face lifting mask. I used the product twice, and it did have visible results. And it's a two-part, has an activator, there's a powder and a liquid, and you put them together, and then you make the mask, and then you put the mask on. And it like sucks your skin up. Like it really, it was amazing when I was watching. It was a little creepy watching my skin go, and it makes all these like ripples and stuff, and then it smooths it out. It's bizarre. Like, but then you leave it on for half an hour, and then you wash it off. Um, and it has some extended results, right? And it did work. It did work. It did lift sagging skin. It lifted. And I got this rash. And then it's also when the cold sore came out. So I don't know if that had something, if that product, aggravated that or whatever. But like I had a rash down here. And when I had the mask on the last time, it like burned on my face, and the skin was like all dry. And I had little lumpy lumps that were here. But I got it cleared up last night or yesterday. I put stuff on it, some healing salve, nutribiotic stuff, and some hydrocortisone, and Of course, Abreva, the Abreva. What else did I put? I put something else on it. The Nutribiotic, which is GSE, is just an antibiotic. The hydrocortisone, which was anti-inflammatory. And I think just moisturizer. And I cleaned it first with the tea tree oil. Yeah. So all those expensive creams, I can't put them on my face. Seriously. I just gotta stick to the tea tree oil. Stick to the good old Desert Essence. Seriously, Desert Essence should send me free product because I am a walking advertisement for their product. I use their skin lotions and stuff. They're the best product. They are. They have really nice absorption. They don't smell medicinal, and they're also not all perfumed, right? There's no artificial anything. You know, it all feels really nice when you put it on your skin. It's, smells nice, everything. Yeah. I just stick to my good old Desert Essence and stop trying these fancy pants garbage things. Yeah. And I got from the new skin also, I ordered from them. It was a whitening, supposed to be a whitening toothpaste. Do my teeth look any whiter? I don't know. Maybe they do a little bit. I don't know. Whatever. Whatever. They don't look white enough to say that it's worth the $28 for the tube of toothpaste. $28 is a lot of money for a tube of toothpaste. It is. And my teeth aren't sparkling. I've used it for what, 2 weeks? It should be enough to see a difference, huh? For 28 bucks. Should be. So, sorry, new skin. I don't think you're worth the money. You made my skin break out. Yeah, you gave me some new skin, some new broken out skin. Yeah. Meanwhile, there's still people all over the globe being slaughtered. While I talk about basketball and skincare. Anyway, I made a pot of soup last night. Lentil soup. So a while back, I did a bunch of lentil and bean mixes for, days when I needed to come home and make something fast. So I used some of that. Because I wasn't sure. Like right after the procedure, I wasn't super sore, but I'm sore. I'm more sore right now than I was right after. Um, but that's to be expected. Um, So, but I made a pot of soup last night. I made a pot of lentil soup. So I had my lentil mix, and I cut up some celery and onion and carrot and potato and tomato, and somebody gave me this ghost pepper, right? And I dried it, and I don't know how it ended up. It must have like fallen. I had it hanging off of I had it hanging in my kitchen drying, and it must have fallen in the pot of soup because I didn't put it in the pot of soup, but there it was in the pot of soup. I was like, "Oh my God." I'm like, "This is gonna be spicy." Pepper wasn't that spicy because the soup was not spicy. So I don't know. I don't know. That ghost pepper wasn't spicy. But the way you grow peppers, raise peppers, it affects their spice level. But that pepper was not spicy at all. I have some dried Carolina Reapers in the cupboard that are far more spicy. I drop one of those in something and it's like, woo! So, but the lentil soup was good. The lentil soup was good. I like lentil soup. Yeah. I told Omar, I think this winter, I'm going to go on a soup and salad kick. Everything's going to be soup and salad. Soup and salad. And I think I'm going to take a break from bacon bread weekly. And if he wants bread, he can buy himself some Dave's Killer Bread. We'll wait till Easter to make bread. Yeah. Yeah. And with the menopauses and everything, I think I'm gonna up my soy intake. Yeah, I think I am. I think I'm gonna up my soy intake and see how that affects things. Do more tofu. Do more tofu. Rissy, you eating a tofu? Yes, Grandma, I'm eating a tofu. Oh, Rissy, you eating a tofu? My grandma. You eating the tofu? That's what she asked me. She was a funny lady. So yeah. Hmm. Oh, Brandon Pajemski last night. He had help. He was in there for what? Just like a minute and a couple minutes and got like 8 points. He was just like Spitfire. He almost won that game. He almost won that game. He was like, "Wah!" Brandon the Spaz. Wow. Way to go, buddy. Way to go. Hey, Brandon, how many pull-ups does it take to make a basket? One! Oh my God, all the Polish jokes. Stupid. That's what I say. They're all stupid. Yeah. Anyway. Anyway.